One of the things that makes college football so special is actually being at a game. The in-game atmosphere where you can feel the passion and the pageantry is unlike anything else. You can't replicate it. And it's something that I think the program fails to encapsulate. It's a lot more clean and polished and idealized to the point where you hope that somebody comes to play your local team. However, in college football, every atmosphere and every environment is different drastically. And so going to games is something that I think is a lot more valuable in different locations. So I always have a rolling list of stadiums I'd like to go to. So without further ado, here's my bucket list of 10 college football stadiums I'd like to visit. Before I can talk about my bucket list stadiums, I think it's important for me to discuss the stadiums I've already been to, because that means they wouldn't be on my bucket list. I've actually only been to 12 college football stadiums, which kind of sounds like a low number, but I grew up in Oregon and I moved to Arizona. So not a ton as far as density goes, college football teams in that area. So 12 is my number. I've been to Oregon State Stadium, as that's my favorite team. That's where I've been probably first or second most often. I went to college at Arizona State, so Sun Devil Stadium is probably number one if I'm being real, because I went to like 6 or 7 home games every year that I attended the university. I've also been to Oregon, the Duck Stadium as well, been there for a couple games. Arizona is one I make it down to. It's only about an hour or so from Arizona State. In California, I've been to UCLA, the Rose Bowl, several times, although I will say the Rose Bowl was a little underwhelming because the fans are pretty notorious for UCLA games not packing that place. So one day I'd love to go when it's actually full and there's actually people there. I think I would have a much better experience, because I kind of hold the opinion that the Rose Bowl is overrated, but that's just because I think I've never been there when it's actually been packed. I've also been to a San Jose State game. They've got a cute little stadium there. A little underwhelming, I'm not going to lie. Kind of looks like a high school stadium. Been to Utah. Utah has a really awesome stadium in Salt Lake City. I really enjoyed that. Colorado, another one out there. Went to go watch Oregon State play Colorado this last year. UTEP, Texas Tech in Texas, 3 in the state of Texas that I absolutely loved. The Sun Bowl, I think, is one of the most underrated stadiums in the country. Texas Tech just has a fun atmosphere and a great culture. And Texas, too, you just feel the entire city of Austin and the entire city of Lubbock really care about those programs. And outside of that, Tennessee, probably the coolest stadium I've been to so far. There was 100,000 strong when we went there. The Volunteers, definitely, that was an awesome experience as well. So those are the 12 stadiums that I have been to. Here we go. Here's the 10 stadiums on my bucket list, starting with Bryant-Denny Stadium, home of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Yes, Nick Saban not being any there takes a little bit of the wind out of this sail, but it's just such an iconic environment and an iconic stadium, a place where Bama barely lost under Saban ever. And I just feel like being at a place like that where so much has happened in the past of this sport and the history, and knowing that Alabama fans are probably pretty chill because they've all experienced so much winning that, you know, they're not very high strung during game day. But we'll see if that changes in the Kalen DeBoer era. Maybe tickets will get a little bit cheaper, but Bryant-Denny is always near the top of the list. This goes against everything I just kind of said, but the Rose Bowl is also on my bucket list. Yes, I've already been to some games at the Rose Bowl where UCLA played, but I guess my bucket list item is going to the Rose Bowl for the Rose Bowl, or maybe just for Ohio State at UCLA, just a game where I can actually see the stadium at its full capacity and what it's actually capable of. I was able to see things on a smaller scale packed like that at the Sun Bowl. I went to the Notre Dame Oregon State Sun Bowl this last season. That was pretty cool. So I can see the potential of the Rose Bowl. I've just never seen it full before, and so that's on my bucket list as well. One I really want to make it out to, Boise State Stadium, to see a game on the blue turf. Once in a lifetime experience. I mean, that would just be so cool, and it's so tied to my childhood. Boise State used to just be the coolest group of 5 team ever, and they represented everything about, you know, the little guy and all that stuff. The stadium's actually called Albertsons Stadium, which is kind of dumb compared to a lot of the other stadium names, but it still would be a really cool one to go visit. Going to South Bend to see a Notre Dame game is an absolute must. The Irish just have so much history ingrained into their stadium. Seeing Touchdown Jesus in person and just really soaking up the game day atmosphere and the culture of Notre Dame football would be so unique and so awesome. I got just a glimpse of it in the Sun Bowl I went to where Notre Dame was there, seeing kind of the cheerleaders and even the mascot, the little Irish guy running around. It's something that I really want to experience in their home stadium. Next up is the real Death Valley. I'm not talking about Clemson. I'm talking about LSU. If I could go to an LSU night game against an Alabama or against a Florida or a Georgia, that would be incredible. The night games in LSU are literally unexplainable, and teams cannot win there. And I just think that adds to the mystique of a stadium and wanting to go to a game. For me, at least, part of it is the mystique, a streak, or something that's upheld there. This one is just so far up there. If I got an opportunity this year, I would take it to go to a game there. Next up is the Cotton, specifically when Oklahoma and Texas meet there to play for the Red River rivalry. This game looks absolutely impeccable. It's one of those games where something absurd happens every single year. The game is always fun. You never know who's going to win. You can throw all the spreads and odds out the window, and the state fair is going on right next door, just outside the doors basically, to the Red River rivalry. This is on my bucket list, and it's the only one where it has to be a specific game at a specific stadium, which is the Red River rivalry. I don't think this will be on a ton of people's bucket lists, but I would love to go to Lane Stadium, witness Enter Sandman, and watch a Virginia Tech game. This one, I think I'm going to make happen this year. There's something in the works. It's probably going to happen, and I am beyond stoked. I'm really excited to witness a game at this really unique stadium. I think this one is probably near the top and a dream game for a lot of people. The whiteout at Penn State. I mean, come on. It is just unlike anything you've ever seen. I know we've all seen the clip where Michigan comes out versus Penn State and has a delay of game on the first play of the game, and Mo Bamba's playing. It's just impeccable. Need to go see a game at Beaver Stadium under the lights. Another one that would be undeniably amazing is a game at the Shoe, the Buckeyes. I mean, come on. It's just such a cool stadium shape, and I don't know if that makes me a nerd to say that, but seeing the Buckeyes play, they're one of the class of college football, would be really, really cool. Getting there for an Ohio State-Michigan game, oh my goodness, that's just indescribable. Last but certainly not least is the Big House. I've got to go watch a game at the Big House Stat. I think it is so cool. One of the most unique stadiums in the country, the way it's built into the ground. It's just one of the ones that's honestly near the top of my bucket list. The Wolverines, such a cool program, such a cool history, just like a lot of the other schools on here. The biggest stadium capacity-wise in the entire country, I'm pretty sure. One that is definitely near the top of the list. Thank you for watching, and if you have some stadiums that are on your bucket list that I didn't mention or that you think I would enjoy, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, but as usual, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other content you'd like to see on here. Always love hearing your guys' feedback, but that about does it for the video, so I will see you guys later.